Being a real estate agent can be demanding. Being a mom, now that's even more challenging. Now being a mom in real estate, now that is hard.
Hello everyone, welcome to Moms in Real Estate. My name is Angela Fazio. I'm your host and I have two lovely women with me today. The show is entitled Moms Who Give Back, and we're going to be talking a lot about philanthropy today and what the role it plays in these ladies' lives. But before we get started, I want to thank the Mortgage Advantage. Diane Gertis and April Chadwick are our faithful vendor sponsors, and we thank you very much for making this possible. All right, Theresa Perkovich, nice last name, it's good. You've been in the business for 19 years.
I have, yeah. I started, it'll be 20 years in December.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been selling full time for a while.
Yep, for a while. It doesn't seem like, sometimes I go, gosh, 20 years, that's a long time. I'm like counting mine, I'm like, uh-oh. No, it's not.
Too fast.
Yeah, and you do a great business. You make over $100,000 in commissions, and I'm so excited that you have a successful career. That's awesome. I cannot wait for everyone to hear your story. It's so fantastic. And then I have Stacey Krolak. You've been in the business about 6 years?
Well, yeah, 5-6 years.
5 or 6 years, and you do about $10 million in production?
I do.
So just a couple houses here and there, right?
Yes.
A couple here and there. So let's get started. I want to hear about your families first. So please tell me about your children, Theresa.
Oh God. Well, I've got two kids. I've got a 12-year-old. It was actually her birthday yesterday. And then I have a son who's going to be 21 next month. And so I'm a full-time mama. My son, he is pretty awesome. He has some special needs, and so I had this child when I was single at the time. And actually, it's just a crazy story. I got pregnant the night he proposed to me, and he wanted to get married, but he didn't want to have kids. And so I wish I would have known before that happened. But anyways, I ended up having this child by myself. And then after 17 months, he actually fell off the bed and ruptured an artery, and so he had major brain damage, trauma to his brain, and so we thought we were going to lose this child, and here I am, a single mom, and I'm working real estate too. And the reason I got into real estate is because as soon as I became single, like I found out I was pregnant, I was going to ASU, I was almost done, I was working on the beverage cart at the Venetian, like life was good. And then I realized, oh my God, I gotta provide for this child, I don't know what's gonna happen, so I ended up going into real estate. I got, I took my classes I think in 3 months, and so I was on a fast pace. And then I got into new home sales, which was a blessing because it's so hard to get into. So
Right.
Thankfully, God always had this plan, and I'm so grateful. So I got into real estate, got into new home sales, and my son had his accident at 17 months old. And so now I'm a single mama raising this child, and he is just my little miracle.
You have to go back. You have to tell the story of when he was in the hospital.
So I had been just so broken. By the time you go to high school, college, it's like you kind of lose that faith that you have, or that relationship, I should say, with Christ. And I had lost it. And so now my son is 17 months, I'm a single mom, and my son has this accident, and the doctors, the surgeon
stroke, right?
said he did. He had a stroke. The neurosurgeon said that it was one of the biggest hematomas they had seen in years, and if he were to survive, he would definitely be paralyzed, he wouldn't be able to walk, he would be blind, all these horrible things they kept telling me. So he wasn't waking up. In addition to what he was experiencing, he had a surgery, he was supposed to have woken up, and so he was in a constant state of sleep. So we had called our pastor to come and form a circle around him and anoint him and pray. And it was during this prayer I felt just this amazing presence of Christ. I just knew he was there, and it was so neat because during the prayer, my son's father, who's atheist, and his best friend were present during this prayer. They were both atheist, and the best friend started trembling and crying during this prayer, and you could just feel the Holy Spirit. It was so great. So after the prayer, we were crying, and I looked at my son as the pastor had already said his goodbyes and was walking out. And I looked at my son and he opened his eyes and started crying. And so I knew from that moment that was all God, because I just knew he was he was there during that prayer. And I knew that no matter what the doctors were saying, I had to walk by faith, not by sight, not by what they were saying. So from then on, my relationship with Christ has been stronger than ever. And I got this kid back to, doing better. He still has setbacks. He's always been in special ed. He can't read, unfortunately. He reads at like a second grade level. But he is amazing. He shows me every day what love is. I mean, just in addition to all of this, he's got Asperger's. So he has, just a funkiness to him. He walks by the beat of his own drum. Like, he just thinks he'll walk in and he'll wear a costume and he might be the Incredible Hulk, but he's as cool as Incredible Hulk.
Yeah,
So.
I didn't tell you this, but I was a school teacher 100 years ago, right? And I taught a 3-4 loop class. And my favorite student of all times was Devin, and he has Asperger's. And he was the greatest kid, all kinds of like impulsive behaviors and all. None of the other teachers could even stand to have him in the class, but I thought he was wonderful. He had, Mrs. Doolin, I'm getting very angry right now. And I was like, you don't have to get angry, you're gonna be just fine. He was the most delightful child, and I got him for 2 years in a row.
Wow.
Absolutely delightful, I'll never forget that kid.
Yeah, it's nice because you can always tell what they're feeling. They do not lie. And so
Right.
if you ever want to know if your booty looks big in your pants, they will tell you. Oh, yeah.
I don't think we should be asking your son, does your booty look,
How's my booty look? Does it look too big? Yes, Mom. I'm like, yep, we're good.
That's so cute. That is so great. Well, tell us about your daughter.
So then, so now I am 4, my son's 4, and I had taken a year off from dating. I just needed to find myself. I needed to find, I didn't love myself. I was just so broken because of what had happened with his father. And so I finally took a year off from everything, and then I got a call from a girlfriend of mine I went to high school with, and she says, I met this guy I want to set you up with. He's actually my boss. And so I agreed to meet him, and we went to House of Tricks in Tempe, and that night, I knew he was going to be my husband. So it was amazing. It was a 4-hour dinner, and I went home to my mom's house because I was living with her temporarily because I was closing escrow on another house. But I woke her up and I said, Mom, I found my husband.
Oh,
and
that's so good.
Yeah, so
That
I
is
just
so
knew
good.
I knew he was going to be my husband. And then we wanted kids, and so we started trying to conceive as soon as we got married. And it was really hard because, unfortunately, the older you get, the harder it becomes. And so we tried conceiving for a few years, and then I had a miscarriage, and we had just pretty much surrendered to the fact that we would just have my son. And he took in my son like it was his own, in addition to it. And then one day I found out I was pregnant with this little girl, and she has rocked my world. This girl it was her birthday yesterday, and she entered this world. She has been a joy. I mean, when she came in, she was the only child that never cried. Like, she was born and she wasn't crying. And I'm like,
she has one.
you have one of those.
I do.
I mean, that's
I didn't know there were two.
I told her,
I didn't know it.
that's God showing off. I got something for you. And
Yeah.
she's my joy. So she's awesome. Her heart is, she's so passionate for Christ. And she is going to be, I don't know what, I'm just excited.
Well, you said that she loves to speak in front of people.
She
She'll
loves
be the first
speaking.
one to pray.
She loves praying. She's, we went to a concert, and it was all, just adult women. And she was the one standing up, just her arms wide open, just crying, pouring out her soul, and I'm just like,
I want to meet her.
Yes.
I want to meet her.
She's fearless, and she's just awesome.
That's
so,
great.
Yeah, I'm
forget
blessed
her
with
name.
these 2 kids. Sophia.
Sophia. Okay. Tell us about your kids, Stacey.
Well, I have 3 children, and of course I think my children are the 3 best children in the world, like any other mother, but it is my passion to be, my number one job in my life is to be the best mom I could be, and so that I knew that from day one, even before I had children. But I have 3 children. I have 2 sons. My oldest son is 26, and currently he's living in Boise, Idaho, finishing up his finance degree. And then my daughter is 24, Ashley, and she's actually my partner. We're a mother-daughter team. So I get
That's
to spend
exciting.
a lot of time with her, and it's a great partnership. And then my youngest son, Nick, he just graduated high school and started college this year. And he lives in Phoenix, Arizona, and he works for my husband.
Very nice.
Yes.
And so Ashley, how long has she been working with you?
2 years.
2 years. Okay, so for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting.
Yes.
I have the distinct pleasure of working with Danielle, who is my daughter,
Oh.
in the same office, which is fantastic. She and I have a lot of fun together. So you were raised on a pig farm.
I did. I was, yes. In Ohio.
So let's hear about these pigs.
Okay, so I, at a very young age, my parents were actually young when they got married, and their marriage only lasted about a year. So the courts gave my grandparents, both grandparents, the rights, and I lived with them. And so I lived in this small community, West Salem, Ohio, on a pig farm with my grandparents and my father at the time. And when I needed to go to school when I was 5, we had to move into a smaller town that had schools. That's how remote
really?
it was and rural it was.
Wow.
So, but I'm grateful to have that, and I have grandparents that do have farms still in Ohio, and I'm just grateful to be a witness to that kind of lifestyle and what they actually did and that hard work and just being in that environment. It taught me a lot of goals and things that I keep into my life to this day, and so I have a lot of good memories from it.
Are pigs nice animals?
They are. Actually, I
I
had
bacon.
a pet pig. Her name was
hard.
Rosie, and she just wouldn't get fat to take to market to slaughter. And so my grandfather took her to the vet, and she didn't have worms, she didn't have anything, they couldn't figure it out. So she just became my pet. She was like a dog with the other dogs on the farm, and it was Rosie, my pet pig, and they're actually very protective. If anyone comes on the property, they squeal and whatnot. So
Really?
yeah, Rosie the pig was my pet.
I'd like to say that that's going to change my opinion of bacon, but I don't think so.
You still like bacon?
My,
So do I.
my son, who is 14, like 8 years ago or so, five or 6 or 7 years ago, declared himself a vegetarian. And he, by God, he has stuck with it. And because he doesn't want to eat what he wants to take care of when he gets older, or whatever, or study or work with or whatever. And we all thought it was a phase, but nope, that kid is vegetarian all the way. We eat a lot of meat all around him. Yes, all around him. Okay, so you already told me how did you meet your husband?
So my husband and I actually went to the same high school
You
in
did?
Moon Valley.
Okay.
But we dated other people. We didn't. I knew who he was at afar. He was 2 years older than me, so I knew who he was. And we went to ASU. We got reunited with a group of friends, and he said, "Would you like to go out for a bagel?" And then it never ended. We just kept. I knew that I was going to marry him.
Really?
And I was 19 at the time, and so I said, "You know what? You need to go away and come back when I'm like 24. I don't want to get married when I'm young." And he didn't go away, and I'm thankful that he did. So I turned 20 on November 3rd, and on November 4th, we went down to the Justice of the Peace and got married. Because I said I cannot be married as a teenager. That's it.
Yeah, I draw the line. 20 in one day.
We saved our money, and 3 years later, on November 4th, we got married in the Catholic Church.
Oh, that's a nice story.
Yeah.
What's your husband's name?
Edward.
Edward.
Mhm.
That's very nice. Very nice. So you guys, let's get to our topic a little bit. This is Women Who Give Back. So we're going to talk about philanthropy and being involved and why you women. Now, I think that most people give back. If you really think about it, if you have joy in your life, you're giving back somewhere, right? If you're miserable, you need to give back, because giving back and philanthropy and outward focus brings joy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you would share your reasoning for why you help children, and if you share that story.
Yeah, certainly. So I unfortunately was raised extremely poor, and I was pretty much homeless until I was about 4.5, and then my mom married her husband, and thankfully took us in and got us an apartment, and so we had lived with my grandma and just place to place. And so I was that kid. I was a kid that always needed clothing, I always needed food, and we didn't have housing. We didn't even have toys. So now, fast forward, I feel that I'm just watching everybody, and I have such a different lens when I'm looking at people that have such beautiful homes and that are doing so well, but there's more. There's so much more. I just started asking all these questions, and I have done really well financially, but I've never felt like it's mine. I always feel, I don't know how you feel, but I always feel like any minute it could be gone, and I think it's because I've been on that other side. And so after I started getting curious with this, I realized that it's really not ours. I mean, we've been blessed, and now we have to bless others.
Right.
And I've just been seeing things through a different lens. Probably the last 10 years, I started giving back at our church. I started doing the angel tree and just certain, volunteer things. I would be that person that would volunteer on Thanksgiving and Christmas, like most, citizens do. But I realized that's not what they need. They need somebody there all the time. And so it was interesting because I started giving back slowly and started getting just super busy and whatever it was. But what I realized is that the more I gave, the more I found myself. And I felt like I had been lost. Really, I had been searching for something, but I found myself when I was looking at somebody else. It was a reminder of who I am, who I've become. And I wanted
Gratefulness.
and I wanted to give them hope. Because, being so poor at 5 and younger, I just, you live with just such shame and you feel like there's no hope. And so it would have been nice that, for somebody to come and just look you in the eye and say, you're going to be okay. And so that's what I wanted to do. And so now through the years, I've become involved with Chandler. It's Chandler Service Club, and it's a beautiful group of women here in Chandler. There's, I believe, 32 active members currently. I could be wrong. It could be, the people are probably going to be like, what? There's 42. We're a group of amazing women that serve the community, and a lot of people don't know about us because, everybody just does it, not because they're prideful, but because they want to serve. And so every week we actually have, we go and we meet every Thursday. We pack lunches for kids. It's called the Weekenders Program. And the Chandler Unified School District, what happens is the kids, we feed them during the week, but they go home and they don't eat. And they're coming back to school on Monday and they're tired, they're not doing well in school, and so we realized we need to fill that gap. So that's what we do. So Chandler Service Club came together and we actually raise money to feed 660 kids every single weekend. And so we pack these lunches for them. We pack food on Thursdays. We meet. It's called Arizona Brain Food. And then we deliver all of these bins to the Chandler Unified Schools that have, the nurses have worked with us. And so they are able to let us know how many kids that need it. And so some schools more than others. So we deliver the food, and then the nurses, they give these packs of food to these kids under the radar. The kids don't want to be.
They don't want to be shown.
And so it's really discreet, and it's just a really neat program.
That is. People don't realize. The only reason why I know this is because I used to teach in Glendale, and I knew those kids who they went home on the weekends. They just didn't eat because we fed them during the week. You just forget. There's those other 2 days, in the week. While we're all enjoying the weekend, they're hungry.
I know.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
I remember, and I know what that feels like, and so I just want to do whatever I can. So it's during school year. We take a good 2-month break, but we do have some other things that we're doing. We're providing shoes and jackets, which is really also important. And then we are trying to mentor the community, which I think is really important. We have Flower Girls, and it's a Flower Girl program, and it's kind of like a debutante. We hand select senior women, senior girls. We work with them for the year, and we mentor them. We do 12 different events with them, and we're trying to keep etiquette alive. So we have etiquette classes. We do a beautiful ball at the very end, and it's really classy, but it's also making sure that they do hands of service projects. We want to, just encourage them, lift them up to serve the community. So yeah, we're
That's
kind of
really
involved.
That's really
in
cool.
matter.
That is really cool.
Thank you.
Tell us about what you're involved with.
Excuse me. I always knew that I wanted to get involved with leadership with women and have a platform to help them. And that started circling back kind of with my grandmother's raising me. And I saw these strong women in the kitchen doing things and whatnot. But at that time, those women were more like in the back shadows. The man was the head of the household and whatnot, and I knew that they could have been so much more if they had someone to guide them and help them lead. They could have done so much more, I believe. And so I got involved with Women's Council of Realtors, and that's a platform where we help women feel uncomfortable in situations and grow and lead and develop and be things that they never thought they could be. Mm-hmm. And so what I love about that is you're actually grabbing the hand of the woman next to you, and you're growing together, you're leading together, and you're teaching together, and you help the community through this avenues. Also, another charity that's near and dear to my heart for many years is Girls Rule. And that is here locally in the Valley. Dina Patton is the COE. I've been friends with Dina Patton for years, and I sat on the board in 2016 for her. And what they do is they mentor girls that are 13 to 19. And they help them figure out where they want to go, and they are connectors in the community, connecting them. For example, if you have a girl that wants to be a veterinarian, we find a veterinarian mentor that's in the Valley that mentors them and shows them the steps to get to where they want to be.
That's really cool.
I really love Girls Roll, and they have actually probably 4 different categories now of Girls Roll of things that they do. And they have a camp in the summer where she brings women CEOs from all over the country, and they speak to these girls, and they actually develop a product in this week. They develop a product, and then they market it, and then they sell it, and they make a profit from it. And these girls are learning these life skills at 13, 14, 15. And so I absolutely love it because it kind of backs up exactly what I do with Women's Council of Realtors. We're just bigger girls, that's all it is.
Yeah, right. It's true. It's one of the reasons why I love this show so much because, I'm so sorry, we as women spend too much time comparing and dividing from each other when something like this is where we're just all sitting around talking about life and bearing our hearts, and so somebody on the other side goes, my gosh, she had all of the struggles in her life, and look at the woman she's become. I too have had struggles that I can overcome, and I'm not going to use those excuses, and it's just I think that women supporting women in that way, encouraging, strengthening, calling them out, is a really important thing to do for each other.
And there's room for all of us.
Of course, yes. And it's such a pleasure because I know that I have had the chance to talk with women in depth that I would never have had the chance to do just because of this show. And there's always something so unexpected or so beautiful or so wow, you really have a strength that it's just deepening of an appreciation of how God created us uniquely and knit us together for His glory, if we'll let Him, right? And you said something really cool. You said, I don't think any of this is mine. Now, I will admit to you that we grew up wanting, for sure. My mom did a great job, the greatest she could, but I still find myself buying 2 of something. I have to stop myself. You don't need 2 of those things. You don't need 2 boxes of that food or whatever,
The same thing. It's
weird. And I catch myself, right? I'm
I
kind of have a backup. I don't want to take the last one, So I fight that too. But you're right. It's not our stuff. The checkbook is not my money. It's God's money. He just let me put my name on top, right? Of just whatever He gave to me.
And He's saying, what are you going to do with that?
What are you going to do with that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is for me, my provision for you, but you're supposed to take some of this and be provision for others. And that's what you guys are doing, making provision in your own way within the way that God created you. It's fantastic. I love it. You were saying, Stacey, something that, and I didn't get a chance to talk to you about it. But you said you had some time where you missed some time with your youngest son. Tell me about that.
Well, we had a time where we were going through some rough times, like a lot of people did in the crash of real estate, and we ended up losing some property and really having to go back, and I had to go back into the workforce and work, and I felt like I didn't have the time that I had with him. He's 5 years younger than my daughter, and so I had a lot more time where I was volunteering constantly at their school and doing things, and so I didn't have that time, I felt like, with him that I did with the older 2.
Oh, yeah. He probably
So-
doesn't know the difference.
He probably doesn't.
I know. We got
It's
mom
mother's
guilt,
guilt.
you know.
But I do
Mommy guilt.
special things with him now, and we have a great relationship, and I just make special time for him now. Or it's just him and I doing game night together, or him and I going to the movies. We had a great time the other night, and we went to dinner, and it was just the two of us just talking about what his goals are and how I can help him reach those goals.
Yeah, that's cool. And you had a victory with your son
I
recently.
know, gosh, I don't want to get emotional. No, but my son, he's been with me from day one, obviously, and I've just been his cheerleader, his guardian, everything, and we finally moved him into his own apartment. And thankfully, and again, this is God, just always had a plan for us. When my son was finally ready, they just opened up a wonderful facility. It's called First Place. It's in downtown Phoenix. And they are apartments for kids like my son that are not able to live on their own independently. They still need resources, support, and so they provide it for him while giving him his own apartment. So he's feeling really independent. He's, again, he's gonna be 21. In his mind, he's really cool. And he wants to go and have fun. And it's just amazing because they had literally just opened 6 weeks before he was ready.
That's so cool.
So he's the first person in his apartment, and it's in downtown Phoenix. So yeah.
Any anxiety? Are you okay?
Oh gosh, I'm telling you, I went to bed every night with just tears because, it's strange. But no, every time I see him, he's just loving life.
Okay.
He's got a big smile, he's good, he's healthy, happy, so.
That's awesome. Whoever created that place.
You
You
know
know what I
it's been in the
mean?
making for, I think, 30 years or something.
Oh,
crazy.
really?
Yes.
Wow.
So for it to have just opened is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Provision.
I
That's so
know.
nice. So if anybody in the audience is like, you know what, your charity or Women's Council of Realtors or whatever that really, or is it Girls Rule?
Girls Rule.
If they want to get involved or they want to know more, what do? Do they contact you? Is there a place to go? Websites or?
Yeah, so I would love to share any information regarding Chandler Service Club, any ways that you can get involved. Please, email me, and I definitely encourage moms to do this. I think it's really important. Our biggest investment personally is our kids, and just being a mama. That's the biggest job we have, and if we're not demonstrating, leading that path, and showing them what it's like to serve others, we're failing our kids. And so it's just so important to do it now. And yes, please just call me. I have a lot of different areas that you can certainly plug in.
And what if somebody wants to get involved?
And well, please do call me, or Women's Council of Realtors is WCR.org, and we have 10,000 realtors around the country. We have 250 networks, 9 in Arizona, and this year I'm the state president. So I'm happy to talk to anyone about anyone that wants to get involved. And we do a lot of charity work for the realty community within Women's Council. We don't just develop leaders, but we do that as well. And it's a wonderful organization, and I feel honored to actually be a part of it and serve, because it has taught me so much in my life. For example, I was very scared to even talk in front of people, and now I can get up in front of a group of 500 women and talk. And so I thank them for making me feel uncomfortable and pushing me out there and making me do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a better person for it.
Yeah.
And with Girls Roll, it's just girlsroll.com, and Dina Patton, and I'd be happy to talk to any women or young girls, how we can help them become leaders in our community and actually reach for their goals and go where they want to go.
Awesome. Well, I've been blessed by talking to both of you, and I'm glad to know about your organizations that you serve. That's fantastic. Please reach out to these ladies if you want more information, and you got to tell all these ladies about Moms in Real Estate, because this show is, I think, important. I think it's important for women to hear other strong women talking about their lives and their struggles and their victories. So thank you again, Mortgage Advantage, Diane Gertis, and April Chadwick. If you would like to see somebody that you know that's a mom in real estate on the show, please contact us and tell others about the show. Enjoy your week, and God bless you. Bye.